Hi, I'm John Ganatas from CreditCardInsider.com, and today I wanted to make a quick video about balance transfers. So I'm really going to answer three questions about balance transfers. The first is, what is a balance transfer offer? The second is, why would I want to do a balance transfer? And the third is it a good idea to do a balance transfer? So let's start with what is a balance transfer offer, and more specifically, let's start with what is a balance. So let's say I go apply for a new credit card, I get approved, I get that credit card in the mail, and it says you have a $2,000 credit limit. Great, so I go out, I spend $1,000 on the card, buying things, and now I have what's known as a $1,000 credit card balance. That also means I owe the credit card company $1,000, or in other words, I'm in $1,000 worth of credit card debt. So a balance transfer is where I can transfer that debt from one card to another card. And so the second question is, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to transfer debt from one card to another card? I'm still going to owe somebody that money. Well, credit cards have what's known as an APR, or an interest rate, and that basically is how much interest you have to pay the credit card company if you can't pay off all your purchases within a billing cycle. So if I've charged that $1,000 to this card and I can't pay it off before the billing cycle is over, now it rolls over into the next month and I get charged interest on that. And so different credit cards have different interest rates, and sometimes credit cards have introductory rates. So for example, if I apply for this card, it might come with an introductory balance transfer offer where I pay 0%, so no interest, for the first year, year and a half, maybe 2 years. Those are some typical time lengths that you'll see. But basically, if I transfer that balance, now, even though I couldn't pay it off completely, with this new card, I'm paying no interest for the first year or year and a half. So as long as I pay it off in that year or year and a half, now I've saved all that money that I would have spent paying interest to the first credit card that had the 20% APR. So that's really why you would want to do a balance transfer offer, is to basically save money on the interest. So it might not be 0% that you're transferring it to, but even if you can transfer it to a lower APR, you end up paying less money in the long run in interest. But let me tell you something else about it and really get into this third question, which is it a good idea to do a balance transfer? So I'm going to answer that question with no. It's not a good idea to do a balance transfer unless you have a great plan. So you might think of a balance transfer as like, oh great, this is interest-free for a year and a half. I can transfer that balance and then I can forget about it for a year or a year and a half, and then I can pay it off. But you're really not doing yourself a favor by doing that, because you're just going to have to pay it off anyway, and now you aren't going to have a balance transfer to fall back on potentially that can save you that interest. So, well, yes, you may have deferred it for a year or a year and a half, and maybe your financial situation will improve. That's probably not the smartest thing to bank on, and instead it makes sense to have a solid plan in place to either cut back on your spending or otherwise take a look at how you ended up in that position where you couldn't pay off your credit card balances in full, and correct that problem first. Then, if it makes sense and you have a plan to where you'll be at $0 of credit card debt, then it might make sense to open a balance transfer credit card, transfer that balance, and then pay it down before the 0% period runs out. Another important thing to consider is the fee on the balance transfer. So let's go back to the example where I have $1,000 of credit card debt on this card, and then I have let's say a 1 year 0% period on this card. So I want to transfer that $1,000 of credit card debt. And even though I don't have to pay any interest on it for the first year, this card with the balance transfer offer might charge me a percentage of that balance that I transfer over for that privilege of being able to transfer the balance. So typically you'll see a fee of like 5% for this. So if I'm transferring a $1,000 balance, I'm paying the credit card company an extra $50 fee to be able to take advantage of that 0% offer. So when you're talking about a couple $1,000s of debt, that can really start to add up. But it can end up being a lot less than you might have paid in interest on the card that you're transferring the balance from. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, and also it's really important to read the terms of any card that offers a 0% intro period or some kind of 0% intro balance transfer period. Because sometimes there will be a stipulation that says if you transfer within the first 60 days, you don't have to pay a balance transfer fee. There are other cards that if you transfer a balance and you don't pay your entire balance off by the time the balance transfer or the 0% period is over, you will actually have to pay interest all the way back to when you opened the card. So that situation can be terrible if you're really in debt and trying to get out of debt. So finally, there are some cards that might not even offer a 0% introductory period on balance transfers, but might just offer a lower APR. So for example, you might be able to get a credit card from a local credit union or a local regional bank that has a much lower APR than the big banks. So let's say instead of 15 or 20%, you could get a credit card with an APR of 8%. Well, now it looks like a good idea to transfer the balance from the 20% card to the 8% card. Even though you're not going to be saving all that money on interest, you're at least going to be paying less than half the amount in interest that you would have paid on the first card. So there are a lot of products out there, there are a lot of offers out there, but I hope this has explained a little bit about why it would make sense to do a balance transfer offer if you have a good plan in place. Finally, there were some recent studies that came out that show a very high correlation between high income and highly educated people not getting as many introductory APR credit card offers in the mail. So I'll link to that in the description of this video, but that's a really important thing to keep in mind. The credit card offers you get in the mail actually tell a lot about your credit. The banks are actually looking at your credit most of the time before they send those offers, and those offers are actually very highly targeted at you. So if they see, for example, that you're carrying a credit card balance month to month and you're not able to pay it off, they may send you one of these 0% introductory offer balance transfer credit card offers in the mail, hoping that you'll sign up and defer your balance for this 0% period and then use the card after that. But really be careful about any type of 0% intro offer that you get, because you really need a plan. If you're not going to be able to pay it off in that introductory period, now the credit card company is going to make a lot more money off of you when you now have to pay interest on that balance that you didn't pay off before the 0% period ran out. So they want to get you in the door with this 0% offer, but if you don't end up paying it off by the time the 0% offer is over, you end up paying a lot more money in interest to the credit card company. And then you're in the same boat as before, except now you don't have that balance transfer available to you to save you money on interest. So we just did an article. If you are interested in doing a balance transfer, we just did an article that covers the best balance transfer offers that are out there right now. And also, send me any questions you have. If you're on creditcardinsider.com, you can hit the Ask button in the top right corner of any page of the site. That'll go right to me and I'll write back to you. Or you can just comment right on YouTube and maybe we'll answer your credit questions in an upcoming video. You can also subscribe on our YouTube to get all of our latest videos. And I hope that you learned something new about balance transfer offers today. Have a great day.